C.
Option C. So the repeated one, but they asked like, see, this amoeba, they asked about the unicellular. So necessary for its function, only single cell is required. So pine, plant, moss. What is moss? Moss is nothing but the green fungus-like structure you will observe at wet balls and wet rocks. See, the good old houses, the walls will be always wet. On the walls, you will be observing the green softy texture growing. And even the beside rocks, green softy texture, fungus-like structure. That's called moss, M-O-S-S. So that's the unicellular one. Okay? So unicellular one. But when you take the whole organisms they are asking, mosses may be unicellular and multicellular because it's being a fungus. So here definitely you have to go for the amoeba, because just now I told if there is a confusion between unicellular and multicellular existence of the same organism, if in the option only unicellular is given, go for that only, not for moss. Mosses may be unicellular and multicellular, remember that. But amoeba was given, so it's definitely unicellular. There is no multicellular amoeba. So this is the answer and moss goes wrong. Then go for the 10th question.
Option B, absence of nucleus.
Yes, option B.
Yeah, did you got what I'm asking? Absence of nucleus. No idea. Okay, Milan. Bhumika?
Nucleoid.
Yeah, good. Excellent. This is the word you had to use. True nucleus is absent. So absence of nucleus means true nucleus is absent. You're having chromosomes in prokaryotes. You're having genes in prokaryotes. Prokaryotes are the living organisms, isn't it? If prokaryotes are living organisms, then they should have chromosomes. They should have genes. So the nuclear material is there, but true nucleus is absent. True nucleus absent means the nuclear membrane is absent. So the absence of nuclear membrane, nucleus, we call it as nucleoid. So that's the explanation part you have to give. When a kind of assertion or reason questions are given, prokaryotes doesn't have nucleus. How can you justify the statement? So nucleoid is there. Absence of nucleus means true nucleus is absent. So option B is correct answer. Then go for the 11th one. Okay. Living organisms are grouped into eukaryotes and prokaryotes on the basis they're asking. They're asking the basic difference between eukaryotes and prokaryotes. Now when you take ribosomes, ribosome structure is different in eu and in prokaryote. It's not same. Even the nucleus is also different. You won't find nucleus in prokaryote. It's called actually a kind of nucleoid. Even the plasma membrane structure is also different in eukaryotes and prokaryotes. And coming to chloroplast, chloroplast is a different which is used to differentiate between plant and animal cell, basically. So exclude this option. Then coming to the ribosome part and plasma membrane part, just want to give 2 points. Now when you take the ribosome part, here answer is definitely nucleus, because they asked for basis of grouping. Understand the word basis. So here carrion always stands for nucleus, isn't it? This repeatedly I'm telling. Nucleus is the word which will designate carrion. So pro-primitive nucleus or absence of nucleus, advanced nucleus. Those are the difference between eukaryotes and prokaryotes basis. But when you take ribosomes, ribosomes are present both in eukaryotes and prokaryotes. But in eukaryotes, you will have ribosomes in the format of ATS in eukaryotes. Whereas in prokaryotes, you will have ribosomes in the form of 70S. ATS, 70S. The ribosome difference is there between pro and eukaryotes. Okay. But basic difference is based on nucleus only. Not based on the structure of ribosome. Not even based on structure of plasma membrane. When you take plasma membrane, the prokaryotic plasma membrane, if you take the plasma membrane of prokaryote, the Prokaryotic plasma membrane contains more amount of proteins in its structure, whereas the eukaryotic plasma membrane, it possesses more amount of carbohydrates. Comparative analysis I'm telling. There are differences between eukaryotic organism, prokaryotic organism at the level of plasma membrane structure, at the level of ribosome structure also. But basic is nucleus. So correct answer is nucleus, but the ribosomes of prokaryote varies with ribosome of eukaryote. Even the plasma membrane structure of prokaryote varies with eukaryote. How? Eukaryotes possess 80S ribosome, prokaryotes possess 70S ribosome. Now, if you wonder what does mean by 80S and 70S, here S stands for Swedberg. And for atoms and molecules, you will go for molecular weight, no? Like that, the molecular weight of ribosomes is indicated in Swedberg units. This is a unit in which the molecular weight of ribosomes will be designated. So the molecular weight of prokaryote is different from molecular weight of eukaryote. Even the plasma membrane structure also. So here when the question is asked, what are the differences between eukaryotes and prokaryotes, you can list out all these things. Now, when you take this kind of question, first understand the concept. Now, when discussing the unicellular and multicellular organism, I used a word called division of labor. If you remember, division of labor, I said. There I explained labor means workforce, isn't it? The work done by an organism will be divided between different cells. If the cells divide the work performed by the organism, then that is a multicellular organism. Okay. Whereas in unicellular organism, the whole workforce, the whole work, either it's respiration or digestion or circulation or even excretion and reproduction also, everything will be carried out by single cell. That's the unicellular. So you will find division of labor in only multicellular organisms, not in unicellular organism. Because in unicellular organism, the single cell will carry out all the functions, whereas various cells will distribute the workforce. Like some cells will go for respiration, some cells are involved in circulation, like that in multicellular organisms. So here when you take the question, in multicellular organisms, cells are usually, in common they are asking, they are definitely dependent upon each other. Okay? So why they are dependent on each other? Because of the division of labor. The workforce has to be distributed between the cells. So if the workforce is distributed between the cells, means what? Division of labor. You will find division of labor only in multicellular organism. So each cell is dependent on other cell. See, in circulatory system, if arteries are not dependent on veins, so blood circulation will not get finished, isn't it? Even in respiration, all the alveolar cells in the lungs, if they are not dependent on each other, respiration process would be completed. So this is how division of labor plays major role in multicellular organism, which indicates dependency of cells upon each other. Clear, Bhumika? Between A and B?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, fine. So answer is B. Question is, plant cells can perform certain functions. Certain. Okay. Then animal cells cannot perform certain functions. Certain. The function unique. Unique means what? Unique to plant cell. Unique means animal cell cannot do it. Cannot. In any means of any way, animal cell cannot do that function. That you have to select. Unique they're asking. Okay. Now, as of Bhumika said, yes, exchange of gases happens in animal cells. It's the respiration process. So this is not unique to plant cell. Then, go for the second. Absorption of water. Now see, absorption of water, if you take, absorption of water, can animal cells do? Form absorb through its surface water? Is it possible? Can we, human beings, part of animal system, can we absorb water, or we take a glass of water and ingest it? Absorption of water, is it possible to any animal cell?
Ma'am, I don't know if I'm right, but when we place our hands in water, so the finger get a little bit wrinkled.
No, no, no. That's because they are moving. The locomotion process is like that. And the looping of the vessels inside the body of earthworm, that's why you get wrinkles. That's not because of absorption of water. No animal cell can absorb water by itself. They have to go for ingestion. Ingestion means what? Taking in, not just absorbing. Okay, none of the animal cell body possess a function like a sponge. It cannot absorb water. They have to be intaken. Only the plant cell got the unique quality of absorbing water. So here the absorption of water definitely goes through osmosis process against turgor pressure. That's the whole new concept related to unique character of plant cell. So osmosis process and turgor pressure, all these are related to roots. The root hair structures are designed in that way that only plant cell can absorb water. So this is the right answer. Now, many of you felt this might be the unique feature for plant cell because you would have read about photosynthesis, and photosynthesis is unique to plant cell. You would have felt this might be the answer, isn't it? But see, animal cell also can produce starch. Not exactly starch. The animal starch is called glycogen. Okay. So animal starch is called glycogen, and animals can produce starch, the glycogen, with the food material what they have taken. Basically the carbohydrates, from the carbohydrates taken through the food, animal cell can prepare glycogen. So this is not unique to plant. Of course, there is a difference. Starch, glycogen difference is there between plant and animal cell. But unique, that's what I'm telling. Understand the question properly. Unique, you have to go for absorption of water. Animal cell cannot do. And transport of nutrients, of course, circular system is there in animal cells. And what plant cell will carry out the transportation? Which parts of plant will carry out transportation? We studied it elaborately in
Xylem
tissues
and
chapter.
phloem.
Yes, very good, Arnav. Xylem and phloem. So transport of nutrients happens, exchange of gases happens both in plant and animal cells, and production of starch also happens both in plant and animal cell. But in animals, we call starch as glycogen. That's another bit you can say. Animal starch is also known as glycogen. So absorption of water is a unique feature of plant cell. Okay, let's see. I'll explain this. When you take this kind of question, one or two options would definitely confuse you. See, cells perform, cells, multicellular organism, definitely. Essential life functions. Essential they have used. Okay, so they are very necessary for the functioning of animal body. Which of the following function is not performed by animal cells? Now take digestion. Of course, digestion would be performed by animal cells. So this goes wrong. Then respiration. Definitely animal cells go for respiration. So this also goes wrong. Then protein synthesis. Okay. Now if you got stuck at this, go for the next option. Carbohydrate synthesis. Carbohydrate synthesis means what? Production of glucose. Isn't it? Production of glucose. Guys, what happened?
Ma'am, that cannot make their own food.
They can make their own food, autotrophs. Example, plants, isn't it? So plants can produce their own food by the process called photosynthesis. Remember the whole definition of photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is a process where sunlight will be taken in and carbon dioxide is used up, carbohydrates will be produced, oxygen will be released out, isn't it? 6 CO2. Yes, someone help me. C6H12O6 plus 6O2, isn't it? This is the whole photosynthesis process. What is this? Glucose, nothing but a carbohydrate. Can it be done by animal body? When you take protein synthesis, just now I mentioned the ribosomes. Ribosomes you will find both in animal cells and in plant cells, isn't it? Ribosomes are the important cell organelle involved in protein synthesis. So this is also there for animal cell. So the specificity, essential function, understand the word essential. This essential function you will find only in plants, not in animals. So that's the essential function which we call as photosynthesis. They use the word carbohydrate. Synthesis. Synthesis means what? They will prepare by their own. So animal cells, very easy one.
Ma'am, option A, photosynthesis.
Yes, definitely. That's all. The same thing. Interrelated, 14 and 15. Very good, Bhumika. That's all. Within 5 seconds, you answered. Excellent.